Hi there. So, a YouTube notice showed up in my email about a video I'd posted last year. It seems someone filed a copyright claim against the music used in that video. I seem to get these notices about once a month, and it's always the same thing. Since I started monetizing my YouTube videos, I've been careful to use music that wouldn't cause someone to file a copyright notice. But whenever I use classical music in my videos, it's almost guaranteed a copyright notice will show up. Now, the war over music copyrights on the internet has been waged furiously, at least since the beginnings of the 21st century. Because of this, the biggest sites like Google and Facebook have set up some very complicated protocols to detect copyright violations, especially with music and movies, so you can get a copyright notice on YouTube within seconds after uploading a video. But if you take the time to be careful with the music in your videos, you can still manage to put videos on the internet that won't automatically get you shut down, even if you're running a small channel like mine. For this reason, I'd like to point out a couple of sites on the internet where you can get free and legal music for your videos, either with a Creative Commons license or from the public domain. There are a bunch of YouTube channels that call themselves no copyright music, and these channels are constantly swiping each other's music. Usually the music on these channels are loud techno beats and hip-hop stuff that works just fine with a lot of videos. I've used a few of these myself in my videos, though I don't think this kind of music generally matches my style very often. But more importantly, these channels make their music available for free under a Creative Commons license. They still own these works, and it's their own choice to let them use them for free. It's possible that at some point in the future, someone could decide they no longer want their music available for free, and that could cause problems for a bunch of people who've already made videos with music from these creators. And then there's the YouTube audio library, where YouTube makes a sizable number of musical pieces available for people to use in their videos for free. This is a pretty good source for free music, and the quality of the music there ranges from so-so to pretty darn good. Some music creators have donated quite a few pieces of their music to the YouTube audio library, and they've made a pretty good name for themselves in this manner. There are also a number of classical music pieces there that can be used for free. But outside of YouTube, there are several sites out there that have dedicated themselves to discovering genuine music in the public domain and letting you know that it's out there. And you can indeed use this music in your videos, despite what big music corporations say. Music copyrights have been the subject of an enormous legal battle, and I'm hardly an expert in this field. But what we do know, and what you should know, is that with only very few exceptions, we have to assume that just about any musical piece written within 95 years before today's date, or recorded 100 years before today's date, is likely copyrighted, and you run a real risk of getting into trouble if you use this music in your videos. Actual recordings of these songs made within the past 95 years are still under copyright, but if this music has fallen into the public domain after 95 years, you can make your own cover versions of these songs, and you can legally use them in your own videos or other creations. And that brings us to famous works of classical music, which have indeed been in the public domain for a long time. While the works of Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Bach, Mozart, and many other classical composers are free for you to make your own recordings of their music, there are many published recordings of classical music out there that are copyrighted by the musicians who recorded those works. I can't use the soundtrack from Disney's Fantasia in my videos, but I can use a public domain recording of the Nutcracker Suite or A Night on Bald Mountain, if I can find one that's genuinely in the public domain. And in fact, there is a source for public domain classical music that I find extremely useful when it comes to finding music to use in my videos. This is Musopen, the open source musical library. This site not only allows you to download sheet music from an enormous number of classical composers, it's also gathered a large number of recordings of classical music that are indeed in the public domain. There are a few loopholes in copyright law that do allow some recordings to enter the public domain, and here at this site you can listen to and download recordings from colleges, universities, and also from the United States government. Copyright law states that publications of the United States government are in the public domain and they can't be copyrighted, and that includes musical recordings made by the United States government, including military marching bands. However, because these classical works are so famous, using them in a YouTube video can still bring in notice from YouTube's copyright bots. As I said earlier, about once a month or more, I get a notice from YouTube saying that someone has filed a copyright claim on a popular classical music piece that I use in one or more of my videos. And so I have to dispute this claim and go through the process of filing a copyright dispute. Fortunately, since I'm using music downloaded legally from the public domain, so far my copyright disputes have been successful. I just have to be careful where I get the music in my videos. So that's an overview of what it's like to get a copyright notice on YouTube these days. It's the result of stupid YouTube copyright rules, which were set up in an attempt to enforce even more stupid copyright laws. Now, I'm not going to be the copyright rebel or hero who may finally enact some change on the system, but I do hope I've helped at least a few folks know that, yes, you can find music for your videos that won't get you in trouble. Or even if it does, you can still defend yourself and hopefully keep on going. And with that, back to cooking in cast iron.